Welcome, everyone, to Elevated Entertaining. We're so pleased that you could be here. It's my pleasure to introduce your moderator, Arthur White of A&E Designs, author of Distinctive Designs, The Art of Tablescaping, and known for his dazzling dinner parties. Arthur's tablescape designs have been recognized in the media, and he has earned a Design Inspiration Award here at MDC in 2023. In 2024, he joined us once again as keynote speaker for our Gather event, and we're so pleased that he could come back today to facilitate today's discussion on the art of entertaining. Please join me in welcoming Arthur White.
All right. Is my mic working? Am I good? Can you hear me all right? Am I clear? All right. Good morning. First of all, welcome to the Michigan Design Center. We are thrilled that you have made it your business to be here for this particular event, Elevating Entertaining. What does that mean, elevated entertaining? Does it mean that if you're entertaining, that if you brought out the 100-year-old china, then that's something that's entertaining? Not really. That's important. If you have it, it's fantastic. We'll talk about that. Elevated entertaining is about raising the experience of your guests. Your guests should be foremost in your mind. Even though you have to do all the work, it's not all really about you. If that was the case, you could sit and set the table for yourself, right? So this is about making an experience for your guests, your friends, your family, your neighbors, whoever is coming in your front door, all right? So we're very excited that we have a fantastic panel, but before that, I just want to go through a few things. As you know, all the money that's been spent or paid for your tickets here goes to support Gleaners, community food bank, which has been nourishing southeast Detroit for some, I think, 50 years, just about. Now, following the discussion, for those of you with us last year, we're going to do our Wizard of Oz and turn back the curtain because there are a few vignettes that have been set up by some of the designers. So you can, some of the things that you would have learned, we would have talked about in our conversation, you'll be able to see in action there. All right. Also, in your book, your program book, there are also different, after each particular designer talks a bit about them, but it also gives you certain recipes for the holidays. So some of them might be drinks. I think I ended up using my father's eggnog. I didn't realize in the old days you could buy eggnog at the store. My dad always made eggnog at our house. And so each designer has a food dish. I think also have a cake and other things. So definitely take that. Don't leave that book behind when you're done. But you might be able to steal some good stuff for the holidays. Now, I bring out the panel. Our first up is Alexis Elley of Textures Design, now in her 10th year. She creates warm, collective spaces shaped by her life in South Africa and California. Blended with Midwestern practicality, you've seen her work in Martha Stewart's Architectural Digest Digital, House Beautiful, Homes and Garden, Hour, the Detroit News, and Detroit Design. So thank you so much for being here, Alexis Elley. Our next person, Dale Morgan, also known as the Sultan of Style. He's of Blossoms, which you all know, a legend of event and floral design for 40 plus years. He is known for his sophisticated, imaginative celebrations and down-to-earth, good-humored approach that puts clients at ease. He has a wicked sense of humor, too. Mr. Dale Morgan, thank you, sir, for being here. Next up is Mr. Dan Davis of Bureau of Interior Design. He's all about the art of entertaining, from intimate dinners in his Ferndale home to a Halloween bash I understand you have for 300 people, you were telling me earlier today. He designs experiences for all five senses, draws on his travels, and often sets the scene in his home with also his husband in their spectacular garden. So Dan Davis, thank you for being here. And certainly last but not least is Chef Dominic McCord of Grandeur Hospitality. Come on out, Mr. Chef. He is a Detroit-born chef, an entrepreneur and mentor. Get situated on the couch here. Sorry. He's led kitchens like Layla Detroit. Petty Cash was right by our house in Palmer Woods. His elevated and intentional cooking, along with his journey of culinary leadership, has been an advocate of food justice and education. Thank you, Chef Dom, for being here. All right. Let's start out about setting the stage. I was on a couple of the morning shows this week talking about what it takes. How do you make a warm, inviting setting as folks arrive to your home? Just wondering, any advice about that? But should I start with you, Mr. Dale, since you're right next to me here?
Well, that's very nice of you,
Thank
Arthur.
you.
You really made me sound like I'm someone.
You are someone.
Impressive.
You're the
Wow.
Sultan of style. I saw it in the paper.
I'd be running the other way from me if I wasn't me. Something I think people fail to do when they're entertaining is they are unnatural. You know, it's people can tell when you are uncomfortable doing something. It's like wearing clothes. If you're wearing something that's too formal, too stiff, they read you. They're able to go, oh, this is not you. You are putting on a show for somebody else. So I always say, right at the very beginning, be whoever you are. Be natural. Maybe pull yourself up a little bit and dress up appropriately. But, be you. Don't try to be Martha Stewart. Don't try to be me. God created you as you. Figure out who the hell you are and be you.
All right. Alexis, how about yourself? Want to weigh in on this?
Well, I definitely agree with being you. I've definitely been known to kick off my shoes and switch to my Birkenstock slippers while I'm entertaining, so I am comfortable. But as far as when someone comes into your home, I love to have a beautiful scent, candles burning. I love to have mood lighting. I love to have soft music playing. I'm a big fan of Cafe Del Mar. That kind of sets the scene and the tone of how the evening is going to proceed and unwind. So I'm definitely about setting the scene, being yourself, but also creating not a theatrical experience, but an experience to make your guests feel really welcome.
Very good. How about Chef Dom? Anything you want to?
For me, everything starts with the drink. A drink just a drink will do it.
Start
you
with
know?
worse things.
If you're entertaining or even in the restaurant, I could be taking a long time on some food. You send them a drink out, it breaks the mood. Like Dale said, it helps us be more comfortable in our space. As soon as you come in, take a drink. I don't even care. Take a champagne. Champagne is always beautiful to start with. You don't want to be too blew up before the end of the night, but a champagne, some type of aperitif, always helps things move along. So I say start with the drink.
Got you. Dan, how about yourself?
Well, I think it's great advice to know yourself, but also know your guests. We all have people who come over who lifelong friends. That's easy. But sometimes we have people who we've never really socialized much with over. So we usually do text before or emails asking them for strong dislikes, any allergies, things like that. And sometimes we'll say, what's your favorite color? Because we might have a glass or a place setting with that color for them. So it makes them feel very special before they walk in the door.
Fantastic. I kind of mentioned this in a couple of my morning show appearances this week. When I was coming along, I work at Detroit Opera, and the founder and visionary, Dr. David Décor, used to throw these fantastic parties at his home. And if the party started at 7 o'clock, at 6:30, he would be dressed downstairs, ready at the door. He did not leave the door until every guest had arrived. He personally greeted everyone, and it made such a great this really established a tone for the whole evening. And he was also great about doing right outside the door, he would have a drink waiting. So as soon as you came in, you got a drink. Well, then people would stand there talking and drinking, plus he was there. And then as each person came in, he'd say, Jim, may I introduce you to Sam? Or Sam, may I introduce you to so-and-so? And by the time he left, because at some point during the evening, you're going to be, running hither and yon, trying to get this party going, and your party guests may not know each other. And by this point, now everyone knows each other. They don't even need you. They're like, we can make friends and have wonderful experiences. As a matter of fact, there are folks who I've connected at our house who have gone on to be better friends than I ever was with either one of them. So so introduce those folks right at the beginning, because when you're gone, they'll be sitting, because they may only know you at the party, and that might be awkward. Maybe they're wallflowers, that sort of thing. Okay, so I find that very, very important. All right, let's talk about themes. Typically, how do you do themes? Do you use themes? Is that something that's always in your mind when let's start with Dan, when you're doing say we're doing a dinner party at your house for this holiday season, are you thinking, is theme something foremost in your mind, or how does theme work?
Usually it's first and foremost in my mind, but it doesn't even have to be about the day or the dinner. Sometimes it's like, I need a new theme because these people have been over several times. Let's do orange, or let's do birds, or something like that, and then just build it around that.
All right.
Yeah, sometimes we build them around what we're cooking. My husband and I are both cooks. So sometimes it's a Mexican dinner, sometimes it's an Asian dinner. So we will set it around those tones.
Very good. How about, Dale?
That's a good question. My life is even though I look uptight, I tend to do things on a very casual way. It's always polished but casual. I collect china. I have way too many sets of china. I probably have 25 or 30 sets of china. I am constantly at Council Thrift in Berkeley finding somebody's old china because I'm from the school of if I have it, I'm going to use it. And most people put their good stuff away, they never use it, and then they send it to the thrift stores and it's waiting to be enjoyed. So I have volumes of stuff, and if something's broken, it doesn't matter. It's just like, okay, well, good time, it's done, it's over with. I'm a stickler that I always serve in glass. Plasticware is not something I ever do. It's just not me. I'm uncomfortable. So, I kind of think, okay, is it going to be a classic party where I'm doing a damask tablecloth with elaborate Lenox china? Or I'm going to go with a more boho kind of feel where I have a print tablecloth, a print china, different colored glassware, and then the flowers I traditionally do are always small vases of flowers, lots of them. My table for 8 people might have 20 small vases of flowers, individual roses, something else where I may have gone out into the garden and picked them, and then they're arranged together in mass. So it makes it very simple for anybody to do, and it's just an easy, light, casual kind of effect, and people don't feel restricted. They don't feel like, oh, they're a little too fancy for me. It's a little more over the top than what I would do. It just looks totally effortless, and it makes people feel very comfortable. So
Fantastic.
I'm
Alexis?
easy. And sometimes I'm a good time.
I'm going to piggyback off of what Dale said. I am a big fan of the elevated everyday. So I've got children. I have kids in and out of my house. A lot of the times it's last minute, come on over, bring your kids. And it's very much, it doesn't have to be a theme. It just has to feel warm and inviting. I'm a big proponent of using high-low. I might put china on a rattan charger, per se. We grill a lot, so having a beautiful, tray of cut-up steak with, fresh harvest vegetables, and then everything served family style. So I think just putting touches like that where, people feel welcome and invited, but making them feel casual. But then I might use some really cool serving, horn serving utensils. So it feels fancy, but it's really not. That's what I would say, I think, is kind of my overall theme of entertaining.
Cool. Thank you, Mr. Chef Dom.
So I'm gonna piggyback off of Dan. Not so much theme for me, season. Cook seasonal. We have to. I think the things that grow in a certain season, you have to utilize them while they're there, while they're fresh. So I'm very seasonal. I'll even mix cultures, like it might be Asian, it might be, Mexican, I can mix it, but the seasons stay what they are. I won't cook something that's really very summertime and wintertime or fall. Like right now, warm spices are great. Root vegetables are great. We're in, the home of the best apple in the world. Doing a lot with apples and pears and a lot of red wines and cooking. So, and this is the time, we don't want to eat beef stew in July, or a nice soup. So I'm very soup forward right now. I think I'm on soup number 8 this week. I did a roasted cauliflower soup yesterday. Just a lot of roasting techniques as well. A lot of roasting, a lot of hard sears, a lot of rich flavors. It's that time, a lot of broths. So I would think very seasonal. This is when you can be heavy, so even with the drinks, eggnog. You don't want to drink eggnog and a little cognac in the summertime. It's a wintertime thing. So whiskeys, those type of things. Even with drinks, I would say seasonal.
Oh, I'll just finish up the issue of theme. I'm not sort of talented like Dale is, who could just walk out to the garden, find five things, and do a theme. I really have to stay focused for me. I'm not good at just picking things; it'll be a mess. And so I find that having a theme focuses me and keeps me on direction, and it gives my table direction. So for me, I theme out everything, even if it's summer and 4 people are coming over and we're just going to sit in the back. I have a theme in my mind of what I'm going to do, and that helps focus me. And it was once I started focusing on that that all of a sudden some of the work that I was doing started to take notice. So maybe if you're one of those folks like me, yeah, lean into your themes. I really, really lean into my themes. I theme out everything. Maybe one day I'll be so wonderful I won't have to do that. But at this point, I really need that focus and direction of a theme. All right, now we're going to talk about table settings. Because we're on time too. I'm pretty good so far. Of course, we're still early. To this, I'm on a lot of tablescape chat groups and Facebook, what do you call them, accounts. And so one of the things that I had an argument with a lady recently, was to tablecloth or not to tablecloth. That is the question. So I would ask you, what are your views on tablecloth? For, against, not using them, using. There are some folks who don't use them at all. They refuse to use a tablecloth, and there are others who wouldn't dare do a party without a tablecloth. Wondering where does tablecloth come down for you?
I mean, it is your personal aesthetic, a tablecloth. I'm a person that uses tablecloths because I use it as part of the texture of the evening. There's a fabric discount outlet on 14 Mile, and they have amazing fabrics. It's like $5 a yard, and I'll just go by and I walk in to Leah. I say, Leah, I'm giving a dinner party and I need something to go with this china, and she'll take it over. So look at okay, this works, and this works. That's solved in about 3 minutes. I pick one, and then we chit chat about everything else. And 2 hours later, I'm leaving. But I always do a tablecloth, but I don't really have a beautiful wooden table. If I had a beautiful wooden table, I'd be using that, but then I would be using a small silver trivet-like thing underneath my plates if I wasn't using a charger plate. And I'm not a big fan of charger plates in personal homes. But that's my crazy. It used to be years ago that people knew that the charger plate left the table with the salad, and then your dinner plate sat down. And now they have a charger plate down constantly, and you're slicing your meat, and your charger plate is moving all over the place, and it just adds a layer of chaos to me. But hey, it's not my party. I'm the guest at the party, so I can shut my cake hole if I have any kind of social skill. You never make anybody feel uncomfortable, but you do walk away and rolling your eyes, which nothing wrong with that either. Because, frankly, I like a party that is not a grand success. I like parties where there are flaws. Things kind of fall apart because it makes it into a memorable event. Because you can, years later, remember your dinner party, the blah, blah, blah happened, and everybody's laughing with hysteria. I mean, vulnerable people are fun people. They are sexy people. So, relax. It's all going to work out just fine. But my question, that's right, to sum it up, yeah, I like a tablecloth.
Thank you, Dale. I think our time is up for today. Thank you, Dale.
I'm a font of knowledge. It's useless, but I call it knowledge.
Mr. Dan, the tablecloth question.
Do I really have to follow that?
Well,
I was just going to say I pass if I'm next.
stand up.
I have a quick story that Dale will love.
Okay.
Bouncing off of what he said. We were part of a dinner club, and there was one person who wanted to be a part of it, but the idea of entertaining frightened her like I've never seen before. Okay. And she was not a cook. She finally said, I'm going to do this. We all sat down at her dining room table, and the table collapsed. That was very memorable.
That is so much fun. I love it. I wish I'd been there.
Did they recover? How did you recover?
We just had to laugh and go with it. So
Wow. Okay.
I don't know if she ever recovered, but the rest of us did. At least nobody got hurt. Wow. Tablecloths. You're talking to a person who probably owns 60 tablecloths. Part of it is just it can extend the theme. But I do have a walnut flame vintage table, and I put pads over it, and I want to protect it.
Yes.
So that's part of it as well, is just what's best for your furniture.
Yeah.
So obviously, if we get outside, we use the placemats, but because we have a teak table out there. But usually for inside, I do a tablecloth. And we have a small dining room, but the table extends to hold 12 people. So we have to have several sizes of each tablecloth too. So
Good.
yeah, we had to buy an extra dresser for our tablecloths.
Got you. Chef Dom, do you have any opinion?
I think it just depends on the table.
Yeah.
It depends on what you're serving. Some things, like you said, if you have something walnut, you don't want to have to beat anybody up for spilling anything on your table. So I think it just depends. It depends on the theme. It depends on what you're serving. It depends on what you like. You know, it's you do or you don't.
That's you. Alexis?
I like it all. I like layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. Going back to your dining room table, I have a beautiful wood table. I'm scared to death that someone's going to put a big scratch in it. So I will use an elevated placemat, something maybe made out of leather with some beads, something like that, if I don't want to cover up the beautiful wood. Alternatively, if I'm doing kind of an informal, formal dinner in my kitchen, I like to layer my linens where I might have we have Thanksgiving coming up. I've been known to just do a beautiful white linen, under linen, and then do a beautiful tartan plaid over. All over TikTok this year, the theme is Ralph Lauren Christmas. Who doesn't love Ralph Lauren? So
I know I do.
I know you do. Wait till you see. Oh my God, it's amazing. In the next room. But that being said, something like that where it's layer upon, another tablecloth on top of that. And then, like I said, I love to use like a rattan charger and then a beautiful, simple but beautiful china plate, and then a beautiful salad, that has maybe a print, and then several napkins layered. So, I mean, it depends on what the mood you're trying to create. I think there's also something really beautiful about the wood table and a gorgeous placemat. So it's about the mood, but overall, I do love layer upon layer upon layer. So.
Fantastic. I'll do the
You
last
have far more time than I do. God bless you.
We're doing a dinner every week.
It's just time management.
That's
I don't
right. Ooh.
sleep.
That's right.
That's it.
I would just say at our house, I love a tablecloth, but we have a sort of a honey wood, like sort of a baker table, like I think Louis or whatever it is. And so we have glass over it. So I can go with or without. For me, it really depends on what the theme is at that particular moment. But if I bring out my finest stuff, my gold and my silver, I want that to shine. And so the white, I feel like the light sort of hits the tablecloth and reflects back on the items on the table. So if I want to put on the dog, I'm going to use a white tablecloth because it shows up my golds. It makes my cobalt blues much richer, and my silvers will shine like a dime. So I go back and forth depending on what the setting is. Okay, so now I'm behind time. See what I did? I went to talk florals. People always want to talk florals when I have either a lecture or if I go on TV or something. People want to talk about flowers. Specifically, appropriate flowers. There's some people who say you look in these magazines and the floral will be it's more like a floral installation with some of these dinners. And so the flowers are so high. So some people say, well, it's a part of the look. Other people say, I can't see the person across the table. Do you modify your looks florally depending on whether it's a buffet or as opposed to being a formal sit down? Anything you want to tell us?
It makes me crazy when the centerpieces are too high. At the height of a centerpiece, you put your elbow on the table and you move your fingers. That's where your eye is going to be. So you want to be able to look across the table and actually see someone's mouth moving. That just you might not want to hear what's coming from their lips, but at least you want to see it. So that's important to me. And at home entertaining, I like things simply done. They can be beautifully executed, but simply done. Taking wintergreens and laying them on the table, taking some flower heads and dropping them on. Interesting little accessories like a miniature Christmas trees done down the table. Things that are not necessarily floral. Now, don't forget, I own a flower shop, so we're having a holiday open house on the 15th of November.
Come on down the blossoms.
But I like to use smaller scaled textural items, little Christmas trees, maybe some Christmas balls done down the table, and a few flowers dropped into it. It looks so effortless. You have to know what the hell you're doing. If something is simple, it's complicated, just so you know. It has to be well thought through because everything means something. But I like things to be very unaffected because it's important to me to have my guests not feel uncomfortable or intimidated. It should kind of feel like, oh, well, I could do this. I know they couldn't or they wouldn't, but at least it gives them the illusion that they could have the confidence to do something like that.
Fantastic. Dan? Forward?
I do love flowers somewhere in the dining room. They don't have to be on the table. Sometimes if I've got another thing we're doing for the theme that runs down the table, I'll put flowers on the console to the side of the table. They're still in there, but sometimes it doesn't always work on the table. And sometimes I'll use plants or cacti or something like that on the table as well. And you spoke to one of my favorite things to do is to deadhead flowers and put the actual flower top on the table. So you take the stems off, and they will usually last for about 24 hours.
Chef Dom, you use floral in your design as you?
I don't think I'm qualified for this part,
Okay.
but Dale gave me the illusion of confidence, so I'll speak to it. I go to Westbourne for flowers, Costco. I lean on design.
I was going to say, I don't think Dan wants to hear that. You think I can go to a Blossoms to get your flowers?
Yeah.
No.
I lean on my coordinator to, I do parties with Arthur all the time. I lean on the coordinator. I'm simple with flowers, so I'm not qualified.
No problem. Alexis?
I like drama. I like big florals. I love something where you walk in and you immediately see the arrangement and you think, wow, is that real? Is that, I don't know what they have. Oh, that one was just small and simple. We went out and cut from the garden there. But I do like something that has a statement. When you walk in, you think, wow, that's really beautiful. Florals add softness to a room. They add wonderful fragrance. They add feeling. It evokes a lot of emotion, I think. My husband is absolutely renowned for taking my centerpieces and moving them, however, once we sit down to eat. So I'm trying to get better about the rule of thumb of being able to see across the table whether or not you want to see or hear what they're saying. But I'm trying to do more lower profile. But for me, there's nothing cooler than a tall, dramatic centerpiece in the center of a table.
Yeah.
Something else in floral that I like to see done, a lot of one kind of flower. So often people get actively involved with, I have to mix this and this and this. It's like it becomes so visually chaotic that it doesn't create any kind of statement. It just creates chaos. You need your centerpiece should be a spot where your eye can rest, where you actually see what's going on. I also like to do something like I gave a daffodil party, and it was one of the prettiest parties I've ever had. My guests loved it, and I love it because daffodils are my favorite spring flower. And I took just individual vases, glasses, they were gold, and I filled them with, the table was covered with 300 daffodils from end to end. And it was just a simple, clean line. The china was 1950s daffodils. The flatware was 1950s daffodil silver plate. And very, very simple, and it was just really quite jaw-dropping, I thought. I was impressed, and I'm impressed by simplicity.
I'm also a big fan of using your surroundings. So if you have the hydrangeas, go out and snip them, especially as the season comes to an end. They're beautifully dried. I love foraging the spring blossom branches from your own trees. I mean, the trees in Michigan in the spring are like no other. Or just taking a big leaf branch off of a tree in the dead of summer. I mean, I think that looks really organic and beautiful too.
Fantastic. I think we had a couple of pictures of a couple of tables that some of us have done. Maybe Dan, I think if we have one of your pictures. I think Craig, do we have a picture of one of Dan's tables?
Oh, fabulous. Love it.
Wow. Wow. You want to tell us about this? Tell us. I know Halloween just happened.
Well, this was, let me back up. My husband and I threw a different themed Halloween party every year up until COVID. And the number of guests would range from 100 to 300 people every year.
All right.
And this is our dining room set up. In the back there, you can kind of see the House of Wax poster, which was the theme. That is a light box that we had made by a framer. And every year we put a film in there so the whole dining room would light up with the theme of the party. And then the table, anything I could get my hands on for 3 months, I melted wax over. When I went and bought dolls from a thrift store, like 20 dolls, I got a really weird look from the cashier.
I'm sure.
But I would sit there every night. My husband would watch TV, and I'd be there with a candle just like every night for 3 months.
That's great. That's pretty cool. Who else we had tables for Craig? Sorry, Craig's helping me out here. Did you have a table you want to talk about? One of your?
I think I have a table.
Okay. Or you can throw my table up. We have the one. We can talk tables.
This is for a client. We're getting ready for a christening. So it was a springtime christening, and we just wanted it to be beautiful, simple, elegant. And we had just finished her dining room, so she was very excited about that. But yeah, like I said, layers upon layers. We have, the placemat and the charger and the dining table, or the china, and but we used simplicity with the florals. I think I went out and just cut her hydrangeas from her garden that day, and just did a few different arrangements with. I don't know if you can tell, those are the Michael Aram orchids, the gold and cream. So I like incorporating in florals as well as sculptural florals. I think that adds another layer of texture and elegance.
Fantastic. So this is my table. One of the things that people often say, oh, you always do all these very formal tables. And what I found is we started going to estate sales, people were sort of throwing off all this old stuff. And so a cream soup, it kind of went out of fashion in the 1950s. So everyone started, turning these things in. I was like, wow, what a great thing. So I started using my cream soups. I use my cream soups for everything. Soup, shrimp and grits, whatever. So that's become one of my signature things. I love giving all of my attendees their own salt and pepper. You always see folks fighting over the salt and pepper on the table. Or where did it go? So I give all of my guests their own. And I'm also big on monogram napkins. I believe that it really makes my table distinctive. And this particular one is my husband and our initials, A and E. And it's sort of become like a coat of arms now. So now I put that coat of arms on everything we do. But another thing I love to do personalized menus. Sometimes you get to a dinner and maybe they've left the menu on the plate, but then you're trying to shuffle it around to move it around because there's so much stuff around and you can't. And all of a sudden, what's the next course? And you're looking for that. So I say I frame mine and put them right in front of you so you can view and see what's the next course coming at any particular moment, not fishing for that particular menu. And of course, I love Tiffin glasses. Very American, very out of the Gilded Age, really, that period. And so I love our vintage looks. So that's me. Any other tables, Craig, we're going to look at? Or was that it? That's about it. All right.
Arthur, when do you start setting this table up?
It takes me about 3 hours to set the table. Not just this table. It takes me 3 hours to set any table. But I think that part of that is I do my own linens. I launder them. I don't take them out. I do everything myself. I polish the silver because the reason why when it comes back from the dry cleaners, it's creased because it had to be folded. Well, I don't like to see creases, so I have to iron the creases out anyway. So I might also just iron the whole thing myself. So I do all my own linens and all that. So yeah, it takes a while. And I love polishing silver. I do that in the evenings. And that's how we do it.
Sounds like a real party at your house.
I should have you over sometime. All right. Well, you've been over for dinner, but not for polishing. All right. So now I'm behind schedule. Let's see. Let's talk about food, about preparation. This is your wheelhouse, especially, of course. We all have to deal with food, obviously, at some point. I'm very lucky that we have a chef. Chef Dom has done. Oh my gosh, this guy is so Fantastic. He can go from the outhouse to the White House. He can give you whatever look, whatever cuisine you might need, or what might be appropriate for that particular moment. What are the things that go into sort of planning a meal when you sit down to this? So sometimes I'll call you. I'll be like, "This is it's Everton's birthday. Everton's Jamaican. My husband. Give us some Jamaican feel or whatever it might be." But what do you do when you're playing stuff?
So it goes back to theme first. Intention is everything. I asked, the planner, what are we trying to say here? What is our intention? So, like here, this one, for example, they wanted to be just over the top. Everything over the top. It was a party, so it was a caviar themed party. We did caviar on the French fries. We did a caviar station where they had to take a caviar bump and a shot of vodka. We did lobster and caviar tapas, just caviar. So it depends on the theme. For Everton's party, his husband, he's Jamaican, so it was outside. So we wanted to do, we did a grilled peach salad. We did, I think, jerk short ribs.
Yeah.
So those type of things. It depends on, it goes back to theme and intention. I say for like this season, going back to that, a lot of roastings, a lot of fowl and poultry. Brining is very important in this season just to retain that moisture and make sure everything has flavor. Oh yeah, here we go. Here, nice turkey. A lot of herbs that work for the season. My sages, my rosemary, heavier things. That I cooked that the other day. Yeah, it was a photo shoot. Again, you'll see a lot of herbs, root vegetables. I'll cook a ton of potatoes in the wintertime. A lot of sauces. Oh, this here was a salmon Oscar. Not so heavy, but again, roast. I'm roasting everything. Roasted lemon. Just to kind of get those heavy flavors and want you to sit down afterwards in the wintertime. I want you to eat it and say, hey, let's just have a seat. So super heavy. That's it.
Fantastic.
Herbs make really pretty floral arrangements too.
Yeah. And you can weigh in on food when you're planning your dinner parties. I'm sure, obviously, we have to have our hand in every aspect. We may have to be experts, but we certainly have to be able to direct folks and all that.
Again, it's seasonal, I would say, and it depends on who I'm having over, if it's families or if it's just adults. I obviously like to do some sort of beautiful, bird or meat. I love, like I said, big family style root vegetables, gorgeous salads with, pomegranates and chev and things like that. I like mixing in the roasted butternut. I'm thinking holiday now. But yeah, it definitely depends on the time of season and what is in season and who my guests are.
Gotcha. Want to weigh on food? And
My style of entertaining, as you may have figured out, is relatively casual, even though I like a beautiful table. I start my events early in the day because, I'm no longer 25, so I like to be able to see. Wonder what I'm eating. But I like to, I have very long cocktail hours, can you imagine? Because my friends like to interact with people, and I generally have crowds of about 15 to 20 people, although intimate parties of 6 are perfect. The food I serve tends to be more Mediterranean, Middle Eastern. Because I like the idea of dipping and eating cheese and just lots of individual courses, and I keep those coming on and on and on. I also love to do potlucks because my friends all like to cook and they go, oh, I want to try this recipe, so they bring something, so it takes the pressure off of me, the host. So it's just easy entertaining. Summertime, I do volumes of grilling, but the event will start at 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock. We'll have dinner, which will tend to run till 7 o'clock. And then after the limoncello comes out, so my guests kind of tend to leave about 10 o'clock. So an event at my house is like 8 hours. They've collectively moved in. which I absolutely love. I like to see people come and stay and enjoy themselves, interact, tell stories where they feel like they can just let their hair down and not be judged about things. So it's just easy and relaxed. But I love doing that Mediterranean food because it's fresh, it's easy. You can quickly grill something and you can keep bringing out course after course. And as the host, I'm able to escape people and go stand at the grill or maybe go in and wash dishes because sometimes it gets a little intense, the conversations. But to do these kinds of events, you need to have lots of china, lots of flatware. I always say to people, if you're giving, buy a china or flatware for 8, buy for 16 because you're going to need 2 dinner plates, you're going to need 2 salad plates, you're going to need 4 salad forks invariably. So you just keep stocking up on those kinds of items. And I'm always using sharp knives now. You have your traditional cutlery will have a conventional knife. I always want to have a salad knife there and then a sharp knife. It just makes dining easier. And I always think through what I'm going to serve, so I have all of those accoutrements right on the table waiting. So I don't necessarily have to leave the table because, I'm lacking a fork or we have to wash something. I work at making my life really easy so I can be in the party rather than working the party.
Dan, before you answer, can I introduce something? So we do Thanksgiving at our house. So we have about 20 people coming for a sit down at our house for Thanksgiving. And most of those folks are coming from out of town, family, friends from, far and wide. And so when we do our dinners, because I've always done formal dinners, we always course all the dinners. And because I've always done that. And because we do that, of course, the dinner is very long. It's elongated because everyone has to finish the salad course and then we all go to the next course together. So dinner is 3 or 4 hours. Well, after that, we're watching the game, we're watching movies, we're going for walks, we're talking, and usually our Thanksgiving will last into, the wee hours, and we're all still going. But as I started talking to friends, they'd say, well, usually we lay out all the food at once. Everyone eats. 45 minutes in, everyone is reaching for the sofa, the settee, and the daybed because everyone is so sleepy and tired. I'm just wondering, do you have a preference about sort of figuring out how to elongate these dinners so that folks aren't sort of all of a sudden lethargic at 2 hours in and everyone wants a nap? Oh, Dan, do you want to start? I'm sorry, so you want to start since I stopped off with you?
Yeah, like I said before, our dining room is not really that big. We have really gotten into cooking and taking cooking classes and trying to elevate our food. We're both cooks. If we're making something simple like a pasta dish, then use maybe china that's a little more patterned. But if you're doing something where you're really working on your presentation skills and you want to look very nice, use a simpler dish. So that's one of the reasons we also plate in the kitchen so we can carry it in there.
Gotcha.
So yeah, and related to food and all that, I think my best friend in the kitchen is Post-it notes. Because sometimes my husband cooks, sometimes I cook, sometimes we cook. And whoever isn't cooking gets the dishes out after we talk about the theme to the table. And the Post-it notes are not just there to remind me this is that plate for that main entree, but also don't forget the condiment. Little things like that, because every dinner party, something gets forgotten. And that's okay. But when you start reach a certain age, more and more stuff gets forgotten. So notes are great.
Well, take us to Thanksgiving. The issue I brought up. Do you usually lay all the food out at once and everyone goes to town, or do you try to, of course, sort of separate it and sort of pace the meal for your folks to sort of be able to absorb and digest this food?
That's not a good question for me.
Tell me. Tell us all the secrets.
My in-laws always do Thanksgiving, and that's what they do. They do family style, but she uses her grandmother's dish, and it's very pretty. We're doing Thanksgiving with a friend, and we're doing Asian. So there were 3 years ago, we went to 3 back-to-back Thanksgiving of heavy Thanksgiving dinners. And I really don't want to eat turkey again for the rest of my life.
Wow. So, Chef Dow, you're going to weigh in also on this?
Yes. Oh, I love that question, by the way. So a few way intention, going back to intention, right? If we want a longer party, I would suggest smaller portions. Can you go to one of my pictures of my setups? Like, see, something like this here, right? This was an unveiling of an art studio. They wanted to talk around. They wanted to engage each other. We had wine and those type of things as well. So with those smaller portions and smaller plates as well, 6-inch, 7-inch plates, you can't fill it up. You can only get so much. You have to go back. So hey, you get a few items, you get a few hors d'oeuvres. Picking hors d'oeuvres as well. You can do something heavy. You can do short rib, but put it on a crostini. 1 ounce of short rib. You eat 8 ounces of short rib at a time, you're gonna want to go to sleep. But you just do a little bit of something and then you make it interactive where they have to go back. Plate choice is very, very important. If you don't want the party to go like Arthur said, where everyone's sleepy after an hour, 6 to 7 inch plates is a must. Anything larger, even if like with expensive items, I tell guests like we set out a buffet. You want it to last. Put the lobster, the lamb, all of that stuff at the end of the buffet. Put the plates on this side of the buffet. Put the cheaper items, the vegetables, the salad, and then work your way down. Plate choice is very important. Serving size is very important. With the cocktail parties, I tell people, I'll serve whatever they want, but I tell people, go with hors d'oeuvres. We could do nicer stuff. We could do small bites of lamb. We can do, canapes with lobster. We can do anything you want to do, but the serving size is everything. For Thanksgiving, I think Thanksgiving is one of those things. It's just culturally as Americans, we have to lay it all out. We have to eat it at the same time. We have to get, that itis sleepy feeling. It comes with Thanksgiving. It's nostalgic, If I'm not sleepy at Thanksgiving, I'll probably never come back to your house.
All right.
But
Because you'll still be sleeping. That's
Yeah.
why at the house. That's right.
I think I know last year we did gumbo for Thanksgiving.
Ooh.
So I like the Asian for Thanksgiving. But I think that's it. Portion size, hors d'oeuvres. They have, like Dale, he likes to use China. They have like miso spoons. You can buy stuff like that. Like those little 1 ounce hors d'oeuvre containers and squares, like those type of things. You put a pop of something. You'll see when we unveil the curtain, different ideas for little cones, and you can stuff them with hummus and whatever. So those type of recipes, smaller portions.
Anything you want to add to that? Or
Well, I think for a meal like Thanksgiving or something special like Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, what I tend to like to do is a past hors d'oeuvre. So that's like casual. People are enjoying their cocktails. They're sitting in the living room. And then when everyone sits down for the meal, I'm a big fan of starting with the salad and kind of easing your way into the dinner. And then for the main course, the turkey, the potatoes, or the tenderloin, the vegetable, I think it looks beautifully plated. And then we go into dessert right after because, so it does last a little bit longer. And I actually think you are, paying your respects to the hands that made it too. When you're sitting down and you're enjoying it and you're having the conversation rather than, okay, we're going to eat and we're done, we're on the couch. I mean, preparing a several course meal like that takes a lot of work, as everybody knows. And so I think having the spacing between, the hors d'oeuvres to the dessert is respectful. That being said, if I'm hosting a larger party, I do like to put everything out buffet style, and I think it's smart. You put your heavier pieces, your meats, your lobster at the, although I've never served lobster, I'm not that fancy, but, but you put your tenderloin, your things like that at the end. You have your big, beautiful charcuterie, you have your fruits, you have, your shrimp, and, I always love to do sweets. I like to put a big, a potato chips in a beautiful crystal bowl, just for people to pick. And then if people aren't picking, then if I'm having help with servers or whatever an event, I have them make little bites out of the certain things and then pass them to get people to start to eat too. So
Cool. Our last issue of talking about food is sort of what they call a hosting hack, where, for example, even though I adore Chef Dom and everything he does is perfect, perfect. We love soups. And so there's a particular store, grocery store, that I just love their soups. So Chef Dom may come in and do everything else, but I'm like, I've got to have their soups. So people show up, they assume that we either made it or Chef Dom made the soup, but I just love these soups. And we sort of add that one element in, wondering, are there times when you maybe go out to the store and get something, even though you might add it to something you might be preparing?
God did create something called a grocery store. And he has created so many things that are sauces that you can just simply go to the cabinet and pull out and actually use. It's a friend. God created bakeries. You can go to a bakery and get a cake. I mean, if it's just important that you entertain, you actually do it. And if you make your life too complicated, you're actually going to step away and go, oh my God, I cannot do this because I can't time it just right. The amount of energy that it takes with all of the other things that people have going on, I find getting some of the stuff pre-prepared is a godsend. I entertain a lot. It's almost abnormal. No, it is abnormal. I will have probably 15 parties during the summer months. And I have my go-to foods. If I'm going to make some of the stuff, I make sure it's stuff that can easily be frozen, so then I can pull it out. But I'll also go off to the different catering facilities and pick up stuff because I only have X amount of time, and I'm closer to death than birth, and I don't want to spend it constantly in my kitchen. I want to be able to enjoy other portions of my life.
All right, thank you. Dan, any cheating going on at your house? You can tell us.
Well, this is going to be embarrassing. My husband and I have really gotten into Mexican cooking lately, and authentic Mexican cooking. We just took a trip to Oaxaca. We took 2 cooking classes there. So everything we make is from scratch. The sauces, the moles, the tortillas, the blue corn tortillas. But I buy my guacamole. Because our local grocery store, Western Market in Ferndale, has the best guacamole.
All right.
And I'm not going to spend time doing that if a mole takes me 7 hours to make.
Yes.
So yeah, it's those little hacks are
So
great.
pick your battles out there. That's what we're learning. Anything you want to add?
Yeah.
You probably, Chef, you probably have nothing to add to that. He said, make it from scratch.
No,
I tell him.
actually, so I cook for hundreds of people at a time. I think a small party for us is 100. Like tonight, I have a wedding for 400. As soon as I leave here, I'm putting on a chef coat and getting back to it.
All right.
So you have to cut corners. I think as long as you add something to the dish, you make it your own. For example, add something, right?
Okay.
For example, let's say you buy store-bought cheesecake, right? Make a berry sauce. It's quite simple. Frozen berries, sugar, lemon juice, a little bit of cornstarch. Oh, you made this cheesecake? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I absolutely did.
I made it better.
I made it better. What's another good one? I never make guacamole. It's just not a thing, especially when you're buying things in large quantities. It's harder to get good produce and good vegetables in large quantities. Avocados in large quantities, forget about it. So, I'll get frozen avocado puree, add some seasoning to it. I made it my own.
right.
Yeah, definitely. And sauces will take you a long way. Plum Market has a really good salmon, but the sauce isn't good. So make a lemon butter sauce, a little bit of lemon juice, white wine, garlic. Cornstarch is my best friend. I slurry everything. Throwing a sauce on something will take you a long way.
Fantastic. You want to add anything to that, Alexis?
Smoke and mirrors.
I love it.
Smoke and mirrors.
I love it.
I'd say I like to do maybe 50, 75%, and then I make it better. So what Chef Dom's saying. But you have to. And like you said, God made these facilities for us to use. So we might as well support the economy while we're at it.
Fantastic. I wanted to go back to the table for a moment to talk about either place cards or seating arrangements. Is this something that is in your thinking as you're planning a dinner, or is this something you're aware of, or something you utilize?
I enjoy place cards because they know where they're going to go. women aren't putting their purse down or picking up a napkin or doing something with it. Men doing the same thing, not just women, but you kind of go, I want to anchor my spot. And if you have a place card, you know exactly where you're supposed to go. Now, if it's just a bunch of friends, it's like, I don't care where you sit, have a good time. But if people don't necessarily know each other that well, I like a place card. But I also, something that came up with a client 6 months ago, she was doing a beautiful dinner for the symphony, and she looked at the place card and said, it's a place card and tells the guests where to sit, but these people don't know each other. She said, I'm going to go back to the calligrapher and have the opposite side of the place card done. So it would be, in my case, Dale and Dale on both sides, so that somebody looking across the table, they would go, oh, Dale, and no one would feel embarrassed.
We just started doing that as well. That's a
Yeah.
great idea.
It makes life just that little bit easier. But then I'm also a person that wants to go with a name tag, and I forgot to put mine on today. I'm always having somebody at my house, and I'm always with a name tag of some sort, it seems like, because I can't remember people's names easily, or if I have a large crowd of people that I'm not super familiar with, it's nice to have that name tag so that I don't look like the village idiot that just got off of the farm. And the tag is supposed to go on your right-hand side. Even though everybody's right-handed, you put it on your left-hand side, and the logic behind that is you're sticking out your hand and you're shaking it, and the eye will follow right up to the right-hand side, so people can easily recognize it, and it becomes very natural to say their name.
I like that.
Yeah, but place cards, I love them, especially if people are kind of unfamiliar, and if they might know each other, but I don't, so I want to have the cheat right in front of me.
Oh, Dan?
I love place cards. Usually design my own, depending on the theme, their color. But how we use them is strategic to the meal and the guest.
Gotcha.
If we have a group of people coming over and maybe they don't all know each other well, but they're all very social people, I like to mix up so I don't put couples together.
Gotcha.
If it's somebody coming over and maybe I have not met his wife, or maybe I know he's a little shy, I try to keep them together just so they feel more comfortable at the start of the evening. But also, it helps us control that my husband and I get the seats closest to the kitchen.
Right.
Because we course everything out, we have to be able to get up and not go all the way around the table and bump everyone's head as we're going around. So,
Alexis?
I'm a big fan of sitting next to my husband. I don't know. I just feel like I don't like it when people split us up. I like having like some sort of anchor, or if I'm like exhausted, I can look at him and be like, I'm so tired. So I don't like being split up. So that being said, I like to keep couples together, but I also like to think about who would enjoy speaking to another couple.
Yes.
So that there aren't awkward silences, that there is conversation flowing. That being said, I've never hosted personally at my house a massive, massive event where we'd had to use place cards. They're more intimate dining experiences. When I have hosted big events, like the Grosse Pointe Academy Action Auction, that is more of a wedding where you have your table and your place, your card, and you know what table you're at. So I love the idea of place cards. I think they're beautiful. I think calligraphy is gorgeous. I personally have just never used them before.
Got you. So I use place cards for every one of my dinners, but I'm also Machiavellian. I work for Detroit Opera, and so I'm often inviting folks over. I use my dinners as sort of, I call them dinner diplomacy. I use it as a way to meet people and to try to get things out of them. And so I need my place cards because I need to make sure that I'm sitting next to someone I need to talk to. For example, we were doing a Malcolm X opera a couple of seasons back, and I knew someone who knew Malcolm X's daughter, and I wanted his daughter to come to Detroit for this opera. So I really threw this dinner party under the pretense of something else. But the real reason was to have a FaceTime with this woman who I could not get FaceTime with. But she wanted to come to my house to come to dinner. She'd heard about these dinners we were doing. So she sat next to me, and by the end of the evening, I had Malcolm X's daughter at the opera. So seating is very important for me. Also, I try to put couples together. It kind of depends. Like you said, if it's folks that maybe are a little more wallflowery, or maybe they don't know anyone, I'll try to seat them next to someone who might have a good rapport, or maybe I'm trying to. Actually, a couple of times we've actually tried to set up a couple of folks, romantic dates, putting people together. So yeah, so sometimes I'll split couples, sometimes I won't, but I use name tags for every single thing. It's been a godsend for me, but that's just me. All right, we're 11:03. I'm late. A couple of things. Oh, gifts. I was going to say, often, sometimes with my settings, I'll sometimes do a personalized gift. Another reason why it's important to have place cards, because you make sure people will sit where you want them to sit or need them to sit. I'll do parting gifts. Maybe something in a box. Maybe they won't open it then. Maybe it's something they might open at home. It might be something small, not necessarily like an Apple Watch or something, but something that really specialized for each one of the guests. Why don't you guys do something like that, or do you ever employ using gifts or
No.
special trinkets?
The party is the gift.
Yeah. What's that?
The party is the gift.
I love it.
I agree.
All
The
right.
experience.
We've done like take home treats.
Okay.
I've done that several times. Like,
All right.
hey, nice little truffle, something packaged up. Just take something as you go. I like that.
All right.
Once in a blue moon, I'll do something like that, but collectively, no, I'm with you. I've done all of the work, and I hope you had a lovely evening. And if you didn't, that's on you. Assume the responsibility. You showed up for a party and conduct yourself like you want to be at the party. You laugh, you smile. That's your job. Parting gifts, once in a great while, but collectively, it's not. To me, it's not that important. I always send people home with bottles of water. That's important because my friends tend to enjoy alcohol. It's a very good friend, and so I send them with water.
There you go. Dan, anything?
No, I agree. I don't think we've ever done a gift at the end of a party. And as Alexis said, it's a lot of work to throw these parties. Sometimes if I'm doing a big installation down the middle of the dining room table, it takes me 3 days to set the table. So by the time you do that and you make all the meal and everything else and buy the right wine and everything like that, I'm too tired to go out and get a gift for people.
Gotcha.
But in relationship to that, as the guest, yes, you can email a little thank you, but pull out your personal stationery, and everybody should have personal stationery. That's very old school. And you sit down and put pen to paper, and you write a thank you note. And it's an interesting thought pattern. I love to write thank you notes because I'm doing it for me. I'm looking at that I was so blessed. It was such an opportunity to be invited into someone's home and for them to actually have spent that much time to give me a lovely evening. So it's well worth it because it embeds it in my mind that I'm fortunate, that I lead a great life, rather than just casually casting it off. Oh, well, yes, they know I appreciate that. No, they don't. Write the note.
As a recipient, I can verify that every event you come to our home, you've always sent a note. It has always meant so much. Great advice. Great advice. You going to say something? I'm sorry, Alexis.
Oh, no, I was going to say I love a thank you note. I was also going to add, obviously, if you're hosting a baby shower or bridal shower or something, a little parting gift is nice. But for the most part, no. The note is very much appreciated.
Yeah. Anything else, Sam, about notes?
Oh, yeah. It says something that a thank you note surprises you when you get one. So I think it's something that is really nice when you receive one, especially after you've done a bit of work. And it stays with you when you get that.
All right. Anything, sir? About notes? It's been said. Here, my next question. We only have a couple of minutes left before we go to our audience questions. Are there particular sources you might suggest For example, there are, I'm a tablescaper, so I'm on like 9,000 tablescaping sites, constantly looking at what people are doing, stealing some great ideas if I can do that. Are there particular sources that you lean on or that you might suggest folks sitting out might look at?
I love beautiful coffee table books
Oh,
of
okay.
different designers, tablescapers that have gone to the effort of having all of their work photographed and put into a beautiful book. That being said, magazines as well. And then for the digital area, I love Pinterest. I think Pinterest is an incredible tool to use. So I always go back to those resources when I'm starting a creative process, whether it's design or party.
Fantastic. Do you think you might lean on either food-wise or other?
Yes, absolutely. In this age, I love Pinterest. I love TikTok. I love Instagram. You can type in specifically what you're looking for. You buy 1,000 magazines, you have to, look for something. But if you have something in your head, you can pinpoint that particular subject. In the Instagram, just in the search bar, I can say Thanksgiving. I actually did it for this. Another really good one is ChatGPT.
Yeah?
Oh my goodness, it is a godsend. I was anti AI for a long time. ChatGPT. I was anti AI for a long time. Now I have the $20 subscription. I'm thinking about the 200 a month.
Are you
though.
using
Yeah.
it like for recipes or just ideas or what do you
Ideas, everything like that? Because what I like about ChatGPT that's different than the internet is that when you search something in Google, you have to search through all the information. ChatGPT searches the Googles and the Bings and everything for you. It pinpoints the specific information you're looking for. It's not so good when it comes to pictures, but when it comes to ideas, it can give you that landing, that base to go from there. So I like between Instagram, TikTok, and ChatGPT, I use them for ideas, and Instagram and TikTok for the visuals.
Fantastic. Dan, anything you might, sources you may lean on?
Yeah, it's going to sound funny, but I always say the first place to go shopping is your own house. Don't put rules up. Don't think it can only be a vase of flowers. If you've got a Christmas cactus in bloom, set the table around the color of that Christmas cactus. And if it's a red cactus, set some red things on the table, and that's your theme for the evening. If you have a collection, my husband collects vases, Roseville vases, and sometimes we'll pull those. There's a series called Dogwood that's a beautiful green, and sometimes we'll just pull those down and set the table around that. So walk around the house and ask yourself, hey, put books on the table. Just whatever might be something different that you have in your house. And if you need to build on that, then you go out to the dollar store and look for the right color of something, or you go to the fabric store and get a bolt of fabric. But start there first, and it makes your tables feel more personal.
I love that. Do you want to say something before that? I was gonna comment.
I have like the books and Pinterest. I have all the old books, and truth is, the beauty is beauty at whatever stage it is. It could be something 40 years ago. If it was beautiful, it is beautiful. And if it was ugly, it was ugly. So I have all of those books that I've collected forever. And then on occasion, I just simply go through them and I look at stuff. And the same way with Pinterest. Oh, that's a pretty idea. Although I'm anchored in reality. I know how long I have to commit to something. So something that becomes more elaborate and more complicated, I can admire it. And then I take it and work at distilling it. And I also look at the stuff that I have, which is a plethora of stuff. And a lot of times I don't know where it is because I don't have an attic or a basement. It's stored all over the place, but I will ferret the things out so that I can be inspired by something that I looked at in a magazine.
Oh, very good. One thing I would like to add to all of our guests who are here, something that happened to me. We were cleaning the basement out the other day, and I found these brown maple leaf salad plates that I purchased a few years back. I didn't really know how to use it, and so I kind of put them away, and I just stumbled across them, and now I was like, now I know how I could use these plates. Go back. You may have things in your house that you discounted thinking, maybe I don't really like that. Maybe you changed your thinking or maybe you changed your opinion about something. Go back and look in those cabinets because you don't just start reaching for the same old things because you're used to reaching. There may be something. Maybe grandma's plates that got bequeathed to you 20 years ago or 10 years ago, which you thought, oh, that's not my style. You may go back and go, hey, I could probably put this and layer something in with my particular look. So look around as we approach the holidays. Maybe change your thinking, because you might spot something that, hey, I could have been using this, or this might go great with this. And that's exactly what happened to me. These plates sat for 2 years in the basement, and I hadn't been using them. And now I'm like, now I know how to do it. So yeah, that's a challenge to you.
Truth be told, your kids don't want any of your stuff. You think it's wonderful and fabulous, that they have no desire to have it. It's a bunch of old crap. So pull out what they think is old crap and start using it even on a daily basis. I mean, I drink out of Waterford every day because it was somebody else's cast off. I'm going, oh, great. And I won't feel bad when I break it, because it was just so inexpensive. It's not something that is near and dear to my heart. It's just something lovely and nice to use.
Okay.
The other thing I recommend to people doing is, don't give a party when it's expected. I know everybody has a million holiday parties and Thanksgiving. What's wrong with a fun party in March?
That's when you need a fun party.
Right, a fun party in March on Thursday.
I love it.
You go, wow, nothing is going on, and so I can have friends in, and you give a couple of these. It's an unexpected thing, and people appreciate it, and you have the time to actually pull something together because you're not pulled in 20 different directions. So it makes it really nice. The other thing is sending a gift to someone. Send it when it's not expected. Christmas gifts are always lovely, but after a while they really are trite. And so and they just get it and go, oh yeah, that's nice. I got one more of those things. Send them something in April. Little fun thing, thought of you when I saw this. All of a sudden they're going, wow, they actually thought of me, and isn't this nice? So you're creating a personal image for yourself and providing a gift of loveliness to someone, and they're thinking, oh, they actually like me.
I just want to reiterate what something that Dale said. Do not wait, because you're thinking, I'm just waiting for my daughter to announce her engagement, and then I'll use these plates. I have a gorgeous 100-year-old Copeland set that people kept thinking, oh, I'm just waiting for this. It never happened. And
They
so
died.
So now I go to the estate sale and pick them up on pennies of the dollar, and so it's great for me. But yeah, don't wait. The time may never come. Use your great stuff now. Don't wait. I think we have to start questions now. Is that about? It's about 11:15. Okay, so if you have a question, line up here at the table.
Just talk into the mic. So.
Keep down the cussing if you can there.
Okay, I have 3 questions. Just first of all, I loved your presentation. It was exciting and loved everything you had to say. I loved
Okay,
it.
folks, don't forget. Remember, we're gonna go back the curtain. So if you want to see the reveal, you don't want to leave. Okay,
So
okay,
I
go
want to
on.
know, where do you store your china? What about cleanup? You guys never talked about how you clean up. Do you hire people to clean up? And the name tags, do you prepare them yourself and have them on a table when the guests come in, or do you?
Okay, who wants to start? Emma?
My husband cleans up.
I wish I.
He's the cleaner.
Great.
I help. I micromanage, but he does the washing. So
It's interesting. People always say, oh, cleanup. Oh, I hate that. I relish in it. I actually don't. Again, it's like writing a thank you note. Everything I'm looking at going, oh, this was a good time. And boy, so-and-so, what a good time they are. And, I just reliving those moments as I'm quietly filling the dishwasher, although I'm a big person on hand washing because I can do it faster than the dishwasher does it.
Sure.
I always run my stemware through the dishwasher because I can never get it clean the way the dishwasher does. But I actually enjoy it. And I don't, because I never want the party to end. That's, my bad, I guess. I also don't like a table that has been stripped of its linen. People at the end of the party, people go, oh, I'll help. And then they pull the tablecloth off. And it's like going, oh, I wanted to get up the next morning and look at the residue of a party because it was a good time. And I like to just, keep that fun feeling going. That's me.
I love it, Dan.
I think
We usually clean up the next morning. We might throw some stuff in the dishwasher just to get a load going. But I'll be honest, I hate it when you go to someone's house and they're entertaining and the meal is done and they get up and start doing dishes. They really should be with the guests, and that's why we do that.
Very good. I should have talked about that. Chef Dom?
Staff, like Arthur's party, we'll do one server, you know. You don't need much. 15, 20, 30 people, one server. Even if it's a self-serve thing, they'll come gather plates, and it's not really expensive. Like, we pay $35 an hour, 4-hour minimum, $140 to be able to enjoy the party, you know. And that's, you talked about enjoying the party, being able to be present. You know, like me, I get anxiety if I get too many dishes, or, you know, I can't even enjoy it. So having that one staff member at a holiday party, it goes a long way, and it's $100. It's not really that big, you know.
I agree. Alexis?
Well, I mean, a bartender and a server is usually a good idea, because then you can really enjoy your party and mingle with your guests. And I know I joke, I say my husband cleans up, but if I am having a nice party, I do like to hire a server. And we kind of do rinse. I like to hand wash all my china and crystal, and we rinse it and we set it aside. And then the
Yes.
next morning, I also like to see the residue of
That's
the
what
party.
we-
That's
yeah,
always
yeah.
fun. And then I do enjoy taking it out and putting it all away. So, I mean, that's kind of crazy, I think, but it brings me joy. So I like it. But yeah, if you can, definitely hire help when you're entertaining.
Yeah, even if it's just one person, as you said, it'll save you so much time.
Yeah.
You'll come back and the dishes will be stacked and ready. You can go on and do other things. Fantastic. I forgot what the third question was. Place.
Where do you store your stuff?
Oh, so I have a party room in the back, in the basement of our
Exquisite
house.
party room.
Yeah, and so what's great is when having a great relationship with like a Chef Dom, if something comes up in the middle of a party, he knows where everything is. He doesn't have to go pull me out of my chair for entertaining. He knows where everything is. He knows how I use things. I have all my linens. Everything is out. He'd go, oh, we need another this, or oh, we need an extra dish to serve, whatever it might be. And so I have one big room that has everything there. I'm sorry, do anybody else want to?
No, I was just saying, use the storage in your kitchen, because if it's in your kitchen, you're more likely to pull it out and use it. So I keep it in my kitchen, and I keep other things in a credenza in my dining room.
For me, someone with a regular house, not Arthur. This guy has a mansion. For me, I utilize totes. You get them from Lowe's, Home Depot. The totes with the yellow lids. I utilize totes. I plastic wrap everything. Mummy wrap. Some things like china I wouldn't do, but serving utensils and stuff like that. And right in my garage, I have a lot of catering stuff in my facilities, but also in my garage. So I have those racks. Again, all the stuff I purchased from Lowe's, racks and totes. I have all the totes labeled, so I know, hey, I need this one, I need that one. That's how I work mine.
Dan, did you answer anything? I can't remember, Dan.
My house is about 2,200 square feet in Ferndale, and it's only got a couple of bigger rooms. The rest are smaller rooms, so we have to be very creative. So we have a buffet in the front living room, and that houses knife rests, place card holders, everything like that, because I think I've got 20 sets of knife rests.
Wow.
In the exercise room upstairs, we bought a dresser, and that's where we keep a lot of the linens. So you just have to be creative about where you can go if you don't have enough space to keep it in one area.
My house is weird, so I have a series of cabinets that are 2 feet wide and 2 feet deep, and I keep all of my. I put a lot of my china in these 16 cabinets, so I have all one color wrestled right, and then another color, and then I have each cabinet will hold 125 wine glasses. So I have all of it at my fingertips because so much of my life is outdoor entertaining, which makes it really quite easy. I always, like I say, have plenty of flatware. I say I have plenty of wine glasses because when I give a party, I expect to use between 3 and 5 wine glasses per person because there's always a new wine or somebody's forgotten their wine glass. Me, someplace in the house. So it's always nice just to have, and most of my guests know where those glasses are and they're able to just quickly go start grabbing additional glasses as needed. But yeah, and in regards to your house, I love the fact that it's small. Small houses are the best because you are clustered together. People want to be at a party where they are tight together. They're rubbing elbows. If you have a 20,000 square foot house, you have to have 150 people there to make a party feel intimate. So having a small space means you are intimate and you're interacting with people, which I find delicious.
Fantastic. Young lady, you've waited patiently. What is your question or two?
I forgot.
Sorry about that.
You're of the age.
Well, tell us your favorite color and shoe size or something. I don't know.
I don't have any.
Oh,
But thank you, Dominic. I miss you from Petty Cash. And Dale. You know, we live, our street runs almost into your house.
okay.
And so I'm your neighbor. And I know you have a lot of parties.
I love it. I love it.
I've been to his home once or twice. His beautiful yard.
Did you really forget your question? Or you're being funny?
Was it food?
I'm sorry?
or-
Did you really forget your question, or you?
No, I didn't forget.
Oh,
But
okay,
I
I
just
thought
wanted
you
to make
were-
that comment.
No,
Thank you
please.
so much.
Very kind of you.
Thank you.
I too have accumulated several sets of china, and they are non-microwavable, and my children definitely don't want them. So,
Come to my house. Sorry.
so how do you keep the food warm? We have everything out, and then we make our plates. But then, in using this beautiful china, it can't go in the microwave to heat it up. So, how do you keep the food warm for people who want to go back for seconds?
Chefy, how do we do it?
We don't really microwave anything. At that point, I would just replate, maybe you go into a little, I have like these small, what are they? I don't know size-wise, like these small, they almost look like baker's trays, but they're smaller. Line one with some aluminum foil, brush it off into it, stick it in the oven. I don't see many other ways to get that done when you can't stick it in the microwave. I personally don't care for microwaves, but a slight reheat in the oven always works.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. I had another question for the panel here. Can you give me an example of a fail, something that maybe failed at a party, but now they made you better either the next time or made you prepared for something that you would not expect? I know we had the question of Dan, the table collapsing. I'm not sure how to recover from that. But anybody else have an example of a fail that they were able to turn change their behavior?
I think just timing of food.
Okay.
Like if we're grilling and then I'm also serving a potato dish and not realizing that the meat's on and I haven't even started the potatoes yet because I'm having too much fun drinking wine. There's definitely a timing, and I've absolutely failed at that before. So getting your timing in order, I think, is important.
I agree with that. I was in restaurants I'm 16, going on 17 years of my career. The first 12 years I was only in restaurants. I just started catering about 4 years ago. It's a very different skill set. Parties are a very different skill set. Par cooking or cooking 80% of the way is the move, where you can just flash in the oven. So like, for example, I've done a fish dish. I do a fish dish, a bronzino fillet at Arthur's house. I'll sear that skin side so it's nice and crispy. I don't flip it. I go straight onto a rack. It's about 80% cooked. I go into a rack skin side up. When it's time to plate, I go into the oven, 350 degrees for about 5-10 minutes. That flesh comes up so it's not dry. The skin stays crispy because it never hits the surface. It's just exposed to the air. But par cooking and cooking things 75 to 80% of the way is the move always.
Oh, wow. Anybody else? I was gonna say I had one fail, which involved Chef Dom. We had I think 10 people over, and I said you can either have a choice of beef or fish, and so everyone said okay, beef or fish. So we get to the dinner, and we had I think you were going around. They said okay, which one are you gonna have? And so they said oh, I'm gonna have the fish. He said okay, we're gonna have the salmon brought out. And she goes well, I only eat whitefish. Well, that was not on the. We had
Shame on them.
So I was like, freak. My eyes got as big as saucer. I thought, what is this person going to eat? And so I was gonna leave. We were gonna leave our chair, myself or my husband Everton, to go figure out what we're gonna do in the kitchen. He's like, I got you covered. He went and found some whitefish in the freezer. I don't know where he found it. Made it up. It was as if it had been planned the whole time. That's why it's really good to work with people that you know, who know what they're doing, who have your back, and you're not running around going, we're in a big problem. Okay, yes, ma'am. What's your question?
Or you say, so sad, too bad, this is what's here.
No, are you trying to do better than that now?
For that
Okay, one.
point, always have a vegetarian option.
Yes.
That's
yes.
that's your answer right there.
You talked about soup from a local store. What
Yes, ma'am.
store was that?
Westbourne.
Okay, all right.
But there's a jambalaya at Western
Okay.
that people just, every time I serve it, they just are like, we got to have more of this. I'm like, yeah, we'll mix a batch tomorrow.
Thank you.
I'm back. Exactly, I'll drop it off. Okay.
I think the whole world should be receiving an etiquette books for like Judith Martin's Miss Manners. It should be passed out everywhere. Getting a wedding invitation, that should be the wedding invitation on top of Miss Manners' book, because it is lost. You go to someone's house, if you don't like what's being served, you pull out your knife and your fork and you move the stuff around. You play with your food and you say how delicious everything was. I had my fail. I had Tom Monahan came to my house, and his financial people came. I wish I had their financial people, but I have my own. But so they come, and the woman says, "Oh, I'll have a Diet Coke." Water, wine, cocktail. Oh, I'll have a Diet Coke. So I sent someone out to get the damn Diet Coke. She opened the can, poured this much out of the can, and it was like, I didn't offer you a damn Diet Coke. I offered you this. People, if you only get what you're offered, period.
Dale, all right. Hi, young lady.
Hi, thanks for
What's
calling
your
me
question?
I appreciate that. So this is for everybody, but specifically Alexis. You mentioned that you like to start your parties with a scent.
Yes.
So I've always been told and read that scents will alter your. I'm sorry, I'm tall. Sorry, and I can't lean. About scent when you begin your parties. So I've always read that it can alter your appetite. So I steer away from it, but I do love a good scent.
So when I say that, I mean like a scent throughout the house. If I'm at the actual table, I use unscented candles because I can feel like they can be off-putting when you're eating. So when you walk in, there's like a warm smell in the house. So that could be a candle burning in your foyer, your living room, your family room. But as far as where you're actually eating, I definitely go towards unscented candles.
But even in just the atmosphere, that won't affect.
It
or
doesn't.
that won't affect
It doesn't for me. Everyone's different, but
I think it has to be well placed.
yes.
And I don't like a scent right near the food.
Right.
No.
But we burn incense outside the door, so when people come up to our door, they're greeted with a waft right away.
Okay.
And then we have a scented candle in the powder room, of course.
Right.
And before people come over, we'll either burn candles or incense, but we cut it off about 2 hours before they get there, because even though our house is very clean, we have dogs. And some people are more sensitive to that smell than others, so I want to make sure that the first thing they smell isn't the dogs when they walk in the house.
All right. Thank you all.
Yeah, scent is something that everybody remembers. You will smell a fragrance, cologne or something, and a perfume, and you go, oh, that reminds me of my mother, or that reminds me of a trip to Italy. It's probably the strongest sense that we have. So use it, play it up big in the right spots.
I mean, there's nothing like a beautiful scent and like dim, like lighting. You know, I like to have all of my lights on dimmers, so you create an atmosphere and a mood.
I like Dan's approach. If it can be like in the foyer or right as you walk in the door, for me, I think from a chef's perspective, I don't like the battling. I don't like, scent can change the way, even if you sniff in a glass of wine, when you drink a wine, scent is part of how you digest everything. So I want it as neutral or as themed as possible. Like right now, I wouldn't mind in the foyer something autumn, pumpkin, but far from the kitchen. The closer it is to the kitchen, the worse. So
All right. Yes, ma'am. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Great. What's your name?
Hi, panel. I'm Victoria.
Victoria.
And my question is, what has been your favorite host or hostess gift that you've received when you've had parties? I think it would really help us all. Like, what's memorable to you? Uh-oh, do I have you stumped?
I have people that are in the wine world, and we all enjoy it. They might bring a bottle of wine that's special, and they will sign the bottle of wine, and they'll say, cellar this for a couple of years. That's always something really nice to do. If you do take wine to someone's house, don't expect that it's going to be served as part of the meal, because maybe they will have thought this through. Maybe not. But that makes it nice. But I always feel that you need to show up at someone's home with some small token gift. I mean, if somebody bakes something, I'm always impressed if somebody actually put their own two hands into something and put some effort into it. I think that really does make a lovely impression. And then a thank you note after. I think it just works out really nicely. The number of events or people that have traipsed through my house that have never shown up with anything, even the smallest token, and then never even a thank you note, I'm thinking, wow, isn't this interesting? But they do have on their cute clothes.
Our standard answer
You have their cute clothes.
when people ask what they can bring us is something we can use up. We have been collecting art and collectibles for years. We don't need anything but a nice, lovely bottle of wine or incense, or just had a friend come back from Hungary with paprika. I mean, things like that, I think, are some of the best gifts.
Yeah.
I think all gifts are welcome and appreciated. I mean, I've never turned my nose to anything. That being said, I have a friend in the audience here who came over for a very informal baseball team party, and she showed up with beautiful tea towels, which I thought were so nice to have. It's always so great to get fresh towels to use in your kitchen. So I really appreciated that. Thank you, Kathy.
Yeah. I was going to say, for me, we get a lot of champagne, which we love. So thank you. And we get a lot of candles, which I think they realize candles are a big part of our aesthetic. And so usually candles and champagne, and we love them all. So.
I think for me, it was I got a teapot one time.
Ooh.
And I got some seasonings. Like I had a friend came back from Jamaica, brought some bay leaves and some cloves. To Dan's point, just things that we can use. Things that I would utilize. I love them.
Thank you so much.
All right. So, Craig, are we about done? Okay. So, I want to first of all help me thank the panel once again: Alexis, Elley, Dale Morgan, Chef Dom, Dan Davis. Just want to also just remind it that all the proceeds for today go to Gleaners. We're going to throw open the curtains in just a moment to show you some of the vignettes. I want to thank some of our sponsors who give us some of the items that you're going to see, some of the furniture. If you see something you like, inquire. It might be for sale when you get in there. We want to thank Rita O'Brien for giving some of the items that you're going to see. CAI, Fifi Coco, Phyllis Whitehead has been particularly helped me with my look. So thank her, Gjordis Knott, and John Rattray. I also want to thank my personal group who helped me do our table. I was very absent this week. We had a lot of events and other things. I just want to thank Loretta Crenshaw and Michael Kennedy and Everton Swearing and Sharon Gamblin, who really did the bulk of the heavy lift of my look this week. So they made me look good, but they really did all the work. So thank them. And thank Craig and also Emily for your support during this whole time. Anything else I need to thank, Craig? Anything else? And thank you all for being here. This was fantastic. I didn't know we were going to have this many folks. This is fantastic.